Hello. All right, so a little start to this week's vlog. So I have changed some things from last week. So last week I was reading my currently reading books down, and then yesterday I decided to start over. So I've actually cleared my currently reading. Any books that I'm about to check. I think any books that I was less than 50% through, except The Veiled Kingdom, I took off my reading list. So currently the only books that are on my reading other than The Veiled Kingdom and the book I'm about to talk to you about, and Manacled, which we're going to talk about Manacled here in a second, but I'm 50% or more through. So I have Binding 13, I have Love Unwritten, A Fate Inked in Blood, Air of Fire, which I need to finish because I actually have to read Queen of Shadows this month. The Bandit Queens, Sorry Not Sorry, Bad Tourist, and The Veiled Kingdom. So technically, not all of these. I guess I'm not 50% through all of them. The Veiled Kingdom I left on because it is a Kindle Unlimited book and I actually really want to get that done. It's just going to take me a little bit longer to read because I don't have access to an audiobook and it is a fantasy, so it's taking me a while to read it, but I am trucking through. Bad Tourists is for... I don't think I have it over here. I don't. Bad Tourist is for my TBR game. It is my backlist arc / physical read, like getting it off my physical TBR. And I don't know if I'm gonna like this book. I'm about 15% through and there are a lot of pop culture references. I'm not a fan. And when I say pop culture, I do mean that they are doing things like naming Instagram, sorry, I'm trying to set up my tripod because I don't want to hold the camera. I should have done this before we started, but here we are. But they've named Instagram by name. They've named WhatsApp by name. I mean, they've gone as far with Instagram as to talk about like Instagram stories. That's not my favorite thing, if I'm gonna be absolutely honest. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my camera on the tripod. There we go. That's not my favorite thing, if I'm being really honest. I prefer for there to be little to no pop culture references in a book. Now my thing is that you can name things, like you can allude to things. So you can say things like she posted to her stories or she posted to her blog or whatever. Like I understand that social media is part of our culture, so I feel like it's disingenuous to think that like nobody in a book would use it. It irritates me. Okay, this doesn't want to come up now. Anyway, it irritates me when it's blatantly named to the point that like I know exactly what you're talking about. I just don't feel like it tends to age very well that way. So there's that, but I am trucking my way through that one. I have Sorry Not Sorry, which is the Patreon pick for book club this month. This was picked by Nicole. I feel like you're crooked. Maybe not. I don't know. If this clip is crooked, I apologize. But that one was picked by Nicole for the Naughty and Nice book club, so we will be reading that. I am working my way through it, and it's fine. It's like it's a rom-com. I am 32% through this one, but I have an audio for it, and I just haven't gone any further because I want to finish it closer to the live show, so I remember what it's about, because I feel like this is going to be a rom-com that as soon as it's over I won't remember anything about it. It's just not super memorable. And then I have the Bandit Queens, which I will not be talking about in any vlogs because it's for a project. And then Air of Fire, I need to finish this. This is part of the buddy read with Kelsey and Rainey, and we're reading the entire rest of the series. I'm behind, I think more behind than anybody else at this point. I need to finish Air of Fire, so that's going to be kind of my that's going to be my goal for this weekend, I think, is that I'm going to audiobook Air Fire and just get it done. I don't like this book. I find it to be very boring, very info dumpy, very like middle book syndrome-y. A lot of people have said that they liked this book because, oh, there we go, the light's better, because of the info dumpiness. I don't, but I'm not an info dumpy kind of person, so that could be why, which is fine. It's a me problem. That's fine. So I am gonna finish that. I have a Fate Inked in Blood. I'm 24% through this, so obviously not 50%, but this is one that I do want to read. But again, I think it's one that's gonna take me a little while because I am annotating it. There's a lot of things that I like about this book, but it's fantasy. And so fantasy tends to take me a little bit longer to get through. I have Love Unwritten, which I'm 50% through, almost exactly 50% through. This is the second Lakefront Billionaires book. The first one was Love Redesigned, which I gave 6 stars. I'm absolutely loving this book. It's this book right here, but I want to take my time with it because I love these characters. I love Lauren Asher. Okay, but this is the book. She's a chunk. And I think I'm actually further than what's in my physical copy right now, because my physical copy, that's not 50% through. So let me actually, I'm going to pull it up on my Kindle really quick, and we're going, or my Kindle app, I should say, not on my Kindle, my Kindle app, and we're going to see where I'm actually at in this so that I can actually show you like a true depiction of where we're at, because that's not 50%, but I have the physicals for both of these. I started this on sprints with Rainey, Kelsey, and Katie. We started on sprints. I think Katie finished it within like 24 hours. I think Rainey is still working on it, and I think Kelsey has finished it. I started on sprints, and then it kind of got set aside because of the Amazing Readathon. A lot of books for last month got set aside because of Amazing Readathon, which is fine. It's not a big deal. But because of that, it is what it is. Let me see. I feel like... Okay, so this is saying I'm on page 298, which is not quite 50%. This is saying 48%, but whatever. I don't think I'm on 298, but let me check. Okay, so according to the physical book, I'm on page 2. I'm on page 292 according to the physical book, which is about 50% through. So that's where we are. I think once I hit the next chapter, I'll be at 50%. So I must have just rounded up because I'm only like a couple of pages from chapter 34, which I think will hit me to about 50%. So that's that one. Then I have Binding 13, which I am 52% through. I'm going to finish this one. It's a bit hard to read, but I want to move on with the series. So we have that. And then Manacled. So Manacled, I had started a few months ago. I started in April, and I was going to do a dedicated vlog. I still plan on doing a dedicated vlog. I just need to find a time where the one thing I can focus on is Manacled. So I'm thinking that November will be when I do my Manacled vlog. And I apologize for having to push it out so far, but I have some other things happening between August and November. But I think that November, I can focus just on Manacled, do the dedicated vlog, and I can take the entire month if I want to do it. So I may like skip my TBR game that month in order to focus on Manacled and just make Manacled like November Manacled month. And then the other thing that I will be doing is I'm going to be doing a project with the Babysitters Club books. I actually got this idea from watching Aoife's Amazing Readathon vlogs for Face Off. She read some of the Babysitters Club books, and I commented, and I was like, I should reread them all and see how far I can get, and then at the end of the year I can make a big wrap up until I've read all of the books, because there are a lot of books. There's also like the spin-off series, which were like the super specials, right? So I was like, maybe I should read them. So I have a reading guide for the Babysitters Club books, the order that you're supposed to read them in, including the super specials and all of the spin-offs. And so I'm going to be doing that. Now I'm going to be starting with the Summer Before, which is a book I've never heard of. I think this book came out later on. I'm trying to see, because so the original Babysitters Club series ran from 1986 to 1999, and I'm trying to see when this book actually was published. So this book was published in 2016. So I'm going to check my guide and see when I should be reading this, or if I should read it as a prequel, but I do have it downloaded from the library. So all of these books I will be getting from the library. You can't get the audiobooks unless you go through Audible. I'm not going to spend a credit on Babysitters Club audiobooks because I'm not going to reread them probably after this. So I have my guide. I'm going to start. It's going to be a really fun time, and I'm just going to, I'll come in and I'll talk about if I've read any of the Babysitters Club books, my ratings, all of that. And then at the end of the year, I will do one big Babysitters Club wrap up where we talk about how far into the series I got, how many of the books I read, all of that. They shouldn't take me a long time. They're like all less than 200 pages, I think, or less than 300 pages. And so, yeah, I'm excited for this. So yeah. So this ran from 1986 to 1999, and you can get, I can't get them on Kindle Unlimited. I wish you could. There are 130 books in the series, which is insane in my opinion, but there are just so many, and I'm just gonna make my way through all 130 books and see just how far I can get in the series. Like there are a lot of books, and this includes, like, I think this doesn't include the spin-offs, which is why I went ahead and grabbed the reading guide, because you have 130 of just the regular Babysitters Club books, and then I'm trying to see how many of the super specials there are. There's 15 super specials, and then you have okay, so there's 131 of the original Babysitters Club books. And then you have 15 super specials, 36 of the Babysitters Club mysteries. Then you had the spin-off thing that was the Babysitters Club Friends Forever. There's 12 books in that. I probably won't read those. I think I'm going to just skip to the original ones. But then you have 3 of the Reader's Request Special Editions, 4 of the Babysitters Club Portrait Collections, which I owned those when I was younger. 4 of the Super Mysteries. So like any that have the original covers on them, those are what I'm going to read. You have 6 of the Babysitter's Little Sister Super Specials. So yeah, I have a guide, and we're going to use the guide, and we're going to go through, we're going to read them all, and it's going to be so fun. So that is where I am with this vlog. Wow, I just smacked myself in the face. And then the current book that I'm reading right now is Taken by the Grump. This is a book that was picked for my TBR game. The writing is atrocious in this, but I decided to pick this up because I needed something to help me get out of a slump. I'm feeling slumpy. So I looked through my list of books that were picked. There were 2 of these. There was this one, and then something about a daddy. I don't remember what the other one is, but I decided to grab Taken by the Grump. Now I do have a rule, which I don't know if I talked about it in my TBR game video, but I do have a rule that if I DNF a book, then I can't, at less than 50%, I can spin the same wheel for a different book. So if this is just for instance, if I DNF Taken by the Grump at less than 50%, then I can spin the ebook reel for another book. However, I'm afraid that I'll get a book that's worse writing wise. So I have this one and I have Sizzling Hot Daddy, both of which were on my ebook wheel. I'm sure that these were like Kindle Unlimited or Stuff Your Kindle Day books, not Kindle Unlimited, but Stuff Your Kindle Day books. And that's fine and great. Also, next month I will be adding a wheel to my thing for Kindle Unlimited books. I will specifically be spinning the wheel for one. I have to read one Kindle Unlimited book a month because my Kindle Unlimited is ridiculous and I'm not reading them. But Taken by the Grump. This is a Burly Mountain Men book. That's the first one. And our main character has been told by her mother that she's fat, so she decides that she's gonna go into the mountains and she's gonna do this like wilderness hike thing in like the back mountains, the deep mountains. I don't know, but she's gonna do that. And of course, we meet our Grump here. That's all I know about this. I'm on chapter 2 and the writing's not good. But I think it will pull me out of my slump because it's smut and it's not good smut, you know? So that's what we're doing. I'm going to be working on Taken by the Grump. I absolutely hate this cover. It's terrible. It's ugly. The man on it looks ridiculous, but that's fine. So I'm going to read this and get through it. And then I also have Sizzling Hot Daddy, which is not a better cover and probably not better writing, but we'll have fun with it anyway. So that's it. I'm gonna take a shower so I can get ready for work, and I will be back to update you when I have an update. Hi friends, here with an update. So I finished Taken by the Grump this morning. I gave it 3.5 stars. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear the races behind me. Ryan is playing horseshoes, and so I'm sitting in the truck reading my book. But I finished Taken by the Grump. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was fine. It doesn't get smutty until like 50% through, and then it kind of lose the plot after that, because like we have plot until like 50% and then we lose it. So it is what it is. But I enjoyed it. It was a fun time. And yeah, it was a fun time. It got me out of my slump. So that's really all I needed from that book. I got it off of Kindle, like Stuff Your Kindle Day. You can probably get it on Kindle Unlimited, but I'm not sure. But it was like 135 pages. It was what it was. The next book that I started was Sizzling Hot Daddy. DNF'd it. I DNF'd it. Because there was a line in this book where he is talking about her underwear, her ruffled panties, like a little girl might wear. Like, that's literally what he says. And while I understand that this is supposed to be like a daddy kink, like he's a daddy dom and she's supposed to be like the little girl, it's like a DDLG dynamic thing where it's supposed to turn into that. That line it gave me the ick. So I DNF'd. I didn't even count it as a DNF. I just perma-deleted it off of my Kindle. So that's done. So we are going to spin for a new book. Because I still want to fulfill my Kindle read. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin for a new Kindle book. But I have started Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ricci, I think. Ritchie? Yeah. So this is the book. And this fulfills my continue a series prompt. So this is the second book in the Addicted series, the like Addicted Calloway sister series. I know it's all one thing now. I think it's just called Addicted Calloway, but it used to be Addicted, and then there was the Calloway sisters, and it's since become like one big thing because it's all the same universe. So we're reading that, and so far I'm enjoying it. I have read part of this one before, which I can tell because I have things annotated, but I started it. I'm about like 4% in, and I didn't reread the first one, but this picks up exactly where the first one leaves off, so I can't really tell you a lot about this one because it's the second one in a series. But in the first one, we're following Lo and Lily, or Lauren and Lily, and we're still following them, but Lo has gone to rehab for his alcoholism, and Lily is at home dealing with her sex addiction. In the first book, we follow them as they kind of navigate like living together and they're best friends, and that turns into like a romance, but they enable each other. So love it. Love that book. Okay, so, and I gave the first one 5 stars. I think if I was giving 6 stars last year when I read it, it would have gotten a 6 stars. So I have really high hopes for this one, and I hope it's great. So let us go ahead and we're going to spin for a new Kindle book, for a new Kindle TBR book. So I can't really set this camera anywhere. Well, let me see. I'm in the truck, so I don't know where to put the camera. Here, we'll set the camera right here for a second. So you're not gonna be able to see my face, but at least I can hold up the thing. Goodbye. Okay, so we're gonna spin our Kindle wheel. Okay, so we got Queen of Roses. I'm gonna look this up so I can show you guys the cover of this one. I have no idea what this is. This is probably another Kindle Unlimited book. Yeah, it looks like it's a Stuff Your Kindle Day book. It's by Briar Bolin. And it looks like it's a dark fae fantasy. So it's probably like I don't know, it's probably like romantasy, but it's Blood of a Fae book 1, and it looks like this. So that's going to be our pick. This is going to replace Sizzling Hot Daddy, because I just completely deleted Sizzling Hot Daddy off my Kindle. I don't even own it anymore. There's no trace of it. So that's what we're going to read, is Queen of Roses. I'm going to read Calloway's the Ricochet, and then I will be back when I have an update, but I'm about 4% in, and it's good. So I'll see y'all when I have an update. Good morning. Alright, so we are continuing this vlog. There are a couple things happening today. This is Friday, July 12th at this point, so you can kind of figure out what other days I've filmed from that. But today is the start of 2 different weekend-long readathons that I'm going to be doing. So I'm doing Nicole's readathon from Dusty Book Snippers for her Patreon. I'm like co-hosting that, I guess. I got to like jump on with it. So we're doing the mini Kindle / KU Mayhem. So the point of this is just like when we did the big May readathon, where you try to read as many Kindle or KU books as you can in a month, only we're condensing it for over the weekend. So that's going to be super fun. That started at 3 a.m. this morning, my time. So 4 a.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So it's already started. I'm going to be finishing Sorry Not Sorry. That will actually count as a book for this. And then I'll be getting on Patreon Friends with Nicole, I think at 6 p.m. tonight, my time. And we're going to be reading Unhinged, which is like a door smut that was like circulating for a while, and I'm super excited for that. And then I'm also doing Jan's 24-hour Patreon. 24-hour, no. I'm also doing Jan's weekend layer readathon. So every month, if you're on the Patreon, I don't remember which tiers. I know the highest tier, maybe the highest tier, and the second highest tier. I don't remember, but I know I'm on the highest tier. So when I join Patreon, I go big or go home. So, every month we get to do a weekend-long readathon, and some months it doesn't fall when I can do it, or like for a long time it was falling over the same weekend as 24-hour sprints, so I wasn't participating as heavily. But it's happening this weekend, so I'm going to go ahead and participate. There are, I think, 3 or 4 prompts, so I have to fill out my prompt card today to figure out what books I'll be reading. I think I have an idea of some of them, but I need to fill that out, and we're going to do it that way. So it's going to be fun. A lot of reading to be done this weekend. And then tomorrow I have mid-year Scramble sprints. So I'll be participating in both of those readathons throughout this entire weekend, and yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a time. So I am about to get up and get dressed so I can take Ari to Friday story time at the library. So when I do that, I will be taking my Kindle with me. Also, I am still reading Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the second book in the Addicted series. I will say this. Now that I'm a bit further in this book, I'm recognizing things that I've already read. So I definitely have read this book. I'm going to go ahead and finish it probably because I don't actually remember how it ends. And that was the part that I was being confused with when I tried to just jump into book 3. So if I can fit book 3 in this month, I may read books 2 and 3 because I'll count book 2 as a reread. So that's it. I do have to update my spreadsheet today, but other than that, that's all I have. So, like I said, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get dressed, I'm probably going to make a coffee, and I'm going to take Ari over to story time. And then I might jump on to sprints with Aoife. She has mid-year Scramble sprints this morning. Or I might not. I don't know if I want to be on camera or not. I do want to dime paint today. And once I get back, I'll pull my dime painting out and listen to Sorry Not Sorry while I dime paint, so I can finish that. So, alright, when I have a check-in, I'll let you guys know. wanted to update. So today is Friday and we have started I've started reading for both of the readathons that I'm doing this weekend. I did talk, I think in the last clip, about which two, but I will just reiterate in case I didn't. Okay. So I'm doing Jan's Patreon exclusive book club or readathon for the month, and then I'm also doing the Kindle Unlimited / KU Mayhem mini readathon with Nicole from Just the Book Sniffers. So I just finished reading Unhinged by Vera Valentine with Nicole on sprints. We're on sprints right now, but my computer is inside. So the next prompt that I want to fulfill is reading a book outside. So I grabbed Squeak off of Kindle Unlimited. This is also by Vera Valentine, and I gave Unhinged 4 stars. So I feel like I'll like this one too. This is like a balloon animal shifter romance. So Unhinged counted for shifter romance and a mood read. This one is going to count for newest book on my Kindle / Kindle Unlimited, and something else. Oh, reading a book outside. Read a book of your choice outside. And then when I'm done with this one, I'm actually going to start Home Before Dark, which I read Unhinged. Unhinged worked for a short book for Jan's readathon, and then I'm going to be reading, after I finish this, I'm going to be starting Home After Dark by Riley Sager, which counts for both. So I'm going to count it as, oh wait, no. Let me rethink. Okay, Squeak is going to KU / Kindle Mayhem mini readathon for newest book on my Kindle. Okay. Home After Dark is going to count for a book I read outside on Kindle KU Mayhem. And then for Jan's, it is a Jan's favorite book. So that will knock out both of those prompts. And then also my spooky thing for Jan is to read a book after dark. So I'm going to try to read a majority of Home After Dark in the dark. You know what I'm saying? But it will work for KU Kindle Mayhem because I'm also going to start reading it outside. So this is only about 54 pages long. It'll take me like an hour or so to read it. And we're doing like an hour-and-a-half sprint. So I'm going to go read. I have coffee. I have coffee here in my Luke's mug from Amazon. I have my phone because I'm going to listen to some music. And then I have my Kindle. So I'm going to go read. And I'll be back when I finish Squeak.